energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is up, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to the Carbonite Convos podcast and YouTube channel. Today, we have a special episode for you. We say it every single week, but every week is something new. Today is episode 66. So tonight, Alec and I are going to rewatch some deleted scenes from Revenge of the Sith that have to do with Order 66. I've seen them, but Alec never has, and I only saw them for the first time a couple weeks ago. So I'm excited to get into it. Alec, are you ready for Order 66, episode 66 already?
I am, and the amount of times that we've seen Order 66 from however many point of views we've seen it across, there's so much to talk about. There's so much to dive into. But before we do that, guys, as always, make sure you smash that like button. Go ahead and hit that sub button as well, guys. We greatly appreciate the support. I'm ready to dive into this stuff. I'm ready to go ahead and get these deleted scenes going. If I believe that's what we're starting with. So I'm ready to go, man.
Definitely. So for everybody watching on the podcast platforms, we will cut out the video portion since you won't be able to see the video. But yes, we're about to react to a couple of the deleted scenes. And then after that, we're just going to talk about Order 66 in general, the many times that we've seen it, especially relating to these deleted scenes. So Alec, I am ready to go. This first one we are going to watch is Jedi Imposters at the Temple. We are clicking play in 3, 2, 1. So
Master Yoda,
everything in the
thank
background.
goodness you're safe. We've recaptured the temple, but we expect another clone attack at any moment.
Quickly then.
You clones make terrible Jedi.
So this is actual footage of Ewan McGregor, which I can tell.
Well, it's obviously
not
Tamora Morrison as well.
But that cut right there and that was actually in the movie. So the scenes the clips of Ewan McGregor, other than him saying, "You clones make terrible Jedi," that's where, that was all the rest was in the movie, and it was just dubbed by actual clones. But the interesting thing about this deleted scene is these were clones pretending to be Jedi. And I just think that's an awesome thought process. How that was the original plan. I'm glad they left it out because the clones are not that stupid.
Clones aren't that stupid, and the Jedi are too smart to go about seeing a bunch of random hooded characters and
that
not
all look the same.
That all look the same and not feel the Force sensitivity that should be there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It would make no sense.
I wonder how Tamura Morrison feels about it, because he didn't get too much screen time in the in Revenge of the Sith, but that's a cool scene.
Yeah, I like it.
I would have liked to see how it would have turned out if it was left in the movie.
To be honest,
altered.
I feel like it might have given it away a little bit more if clones were pretending to be Jedi. I feel like that's something they would away. Giving away that something was in the works.
Well, I mean, it was at this point. It was already
executed. So yeah,
mid-Order 66. They knew it was in the works. They were going to the temple to. They were going to the temple to, change the message going out to all Jedi to tell them to stay away. So yeah, it's just I'm glad they took it out, but it isn't a very interesting deleted scene.
Yeah, for sure, man.
An unfinished scene. So this next one is a little longer. It's about 7 minutes long. We're not going to keep the entire thing in there. But Alec, I am ready to get this one going if you are.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. So this one is called Kashyyyk Attack and Order 66 Animatic. And we are hitting play in 3, 2, 1. It's interesting to see it in such early stages.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we know this was scrapped early, so there wasn't too much development that went into it.
Commander 1138.
It's
Yes, sir. The time has come. Execute Order 66.
It's funny because Palpatine hadn't.
It will be done, my lord.
Ian McDermott hadn't even recorded the lines yet.
Well, I mean, we really only see Cody get the order.
Yeah.
I understand, my lord.
Well, that's the only time we hear it.
That's what I'm
in
saying.
This
like
scene, we
everyone
see
gets
them,
the order, but
we see him put away the comm link, but we don't see him say it. What I think's funny about this is Order 66 originally was happening as the battle between the Separatists and the Wookiees were about to start.
right.
But in the movie, the battle was already going well. They were already well into the battle by Order 66.
Which, for as bad as Order 66 is, it makes it a lot more tragic and a much more disadvantage with the fight already started.
Yeah.
Love the yells.
Like,
It's funny. I have subtitles on. It says Tarzan yell continues.
That's funny. So the clones are still shooting at the Separatists, which is interesting.
Because technically they still are against the Separatists. The Separatists are just the pawns in this whole situation.
Everybody was.
Well, everybody, yeah, but like one huge piece of it. And this is the whole battle. It's wild.
Yeah. I would have liked to see more of this.
They look like the army men in Toy Story, like falling through the sky and stuff.
This would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
Think of how little we saw of Kashyyyk in Revenge of the Sith and how much they're showing in these unfinished scenes. I would have loved to see this.
Oh yeah, we see like the very beginning of the fight, but that's really about it. Like,
yeah, we've seen more now after like Fallen Order.
Well,
but
right, with the new stuff, we're seeing a lot more point of views of what's happening all at the same time. And he knows something's up.
Notice the music change. See, if this is the one I'm thinking it is, this is Kiadi Mundi. And remember, he was in the middle of battle.
There he is right there.
When it happened. He was in the middle of battle, but here it looks like they're at the temple. And you can tell Yoda feels it a lot more throughout these. Felucia, this is when Aayla Secura. She actually had lines.
Wow.
She doesn't have any lines in the movie.
Lie? Do you think they're droids?
Bly. Didn't they have? Isn't there a theory that they had a relationship?
Who?
That clone, the clone that kills her.
And her?
Yes.
I'd never seen that.
I've seen a theory that the two of them were in a relationship. Wow.
Dang. And you see his eyes just shut. See, I think it's interesting to hear how the music lines up differently. Alibaba. It's interesting because she didn't die on Felucia in the movie, but in here she does.
Mm-hmm.
They show a lot more of Yoda in this. This one's brutal.
Wild.
It's Plo.
And then Plo, yeah.
This is actual footage of him.
They said Roger.
Yeah, and it's a clone.
I think it's probably some sort of filler.
Yeah.
The graphic style changed a couple times right there. Did you see that?
Well, because his part of it
that happened.
Yes, but part of the footage was actual footage, not animatic.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Barriss Offee. That's an interesting one because, she turns.
Right.
It goes from having a blue lightsaber to a green.
Wow.
And it just steps
Just
on her.
stomps on her. Wow.
Something's wrong. Stay alert.
This music gets me, man. Luminara.
You can just see him getting weaker. Isn't that wild?
I think adding Palpatine at the end is very interesting. All right, so we are now finished with it. It's interesting, that one, because you see so many more Jedi die during Order 66.
To be honest, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I think that would have been the Order 66 scene is already incredibly impactful and emotional, but I think that would have just added to it.
Yeah, man. So for those of you who are listening to this, we just got done watching a few deleted scenes of Revenge of the Sith, and what we're talking about right now is in this deleted scene, we saw much more of the Jedi's deaths during Order 66, and
so it's like,
specifically the one that I liked was Luminara, and that one was not only brutal, but I always kind of liked her. Like her.
What do you mean brutal?
Which she got stomped on.
That was Barriss Offee.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Luminara was the last one.
Gotcha.
So which one did you really like? Like which character?
Well, both of them. I just like the fact that we saw them come to an end a little bit more. Like, obviously, we know only a certain amount of Jedi survived, and there's only 11 or 12, something like that we know survived this. And we assumed that they met their demise during this, but it would have been nice to actually see it. It
would have been nice to see him die.
Oh my gosh, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
Going off of Luminara, I think it's super interesting because you see, you think about her role in Star Wars Rebels, which is several years after this.
Right.
You think of how her body her corpse was in Rebels, and it was animated, like in the show, it was animated by, can't remember who, but like they were bringing her dead body not back to life, but it was being used to send messages.
That's crazy.
So you think of if this would have been in the movie, we see her die, and then you think at some point her body has to get in the wrong hands at some point. So it's just interesting. I did like Barriss Offee's death too, because how everything works out in the Clone Wars with her framing Ahsoka for the bombing at the temple. It's and her losing faith in the Jedi Order. It's just interesting because in Revenge of the Sith, originally she was supposed to be, a normal Jedi that doesn't turn. So you wonder how that changes the Clone Wars if that scene is left in the movie.
That is interesting. I mean, I'm sure that changes a few things. Because obviously if they're not alive, they can't be in future occurrences. And I don't know if it's like she kind of got what was coming to her, but she was already gone at that point. So
yeah,
that she wouldn't have been in the movie to be killed. So
I think also, when you watch Revenge of the Sith or anything with that much CGI, it's easy to say, it's just digital, it's just computer animated, it's not a big deal. But when you see it this early on, and just I think it puts into perspective how much work goes into it, because you already know they cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make, the manpower, the man hours that go into making it, but actually seeing it this early on in the process, I think that's it just really puts it into perspective how much work goes into this.
what I want to know is what makes them cut certain things over others. And, maybe it's obviously got to be the producer's decision on what they want the exact story to be and what they want to be in that story. But from a fan perspective, I feel like there's some things that I would have rather seen than others. And that's with any movie. Obviously, no movie's perfect, but like that, and seeing a broader aspect of Order 66 would have been, I think, more developing to the story.
I think it's really interesting what happens with Palpatine as well. Having him at the very end give his little laugh, I think it's very menacing, and I would have liked to see that finished.
Well, it would have been cool to see, like, kind of watching it from his perspective. Like, imagine a scenario where you're looking at Palpatine in the room. It goes from Cody getting the orders, and then it flashes back to Palpatine in his throne room, watching all this happen in a hologram, watching all these Jedi fall, watching the clones turn. And I would have liked to see his face and his expression during the whole thing. Would it be a smile? Would it be like, business as usual? Like, how would he be reacting?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really like seeing other views of Order 66, which luckily we've been able to see, in the past 3 years. We've gotten several more views from Order 66. But even seeing this one, it's almost exactly how we saw it, but just seeing it, if it could have been slightly different. It's like a Star Wars what if almost.
Yeah.
So I think that's super interesting. Would have been cool to see Palpatine. I enjoy seeing the Battle of Kashyyyk and everything that we were talking about during the reaction, because they showed a lot more of the actual battle on Kashyyyk, and it's not just on the beach. It's more in the little inlets that lead to the water. It's a little in the trees, swinging from the trees, the clones, the Wookiees. It shows a lot more of the battle, which I really enjoyed. I think it'd be super interesting to see more of Kashyyyk in Revenge of the Sith and see the Wookiees more in tandem.
Did you know what made me really like Kashyyyk is playing through Fallen Order? And maybe this can kind of segue into what the next part of the show we were going to get into, but playing through Fallen Order, seeing the life tree, being able to explore the planet. Not only is it beautiful, but the Wookiees are awesome. Wookiees are just dope in general. And
they weren't designed it's weird. Like, their design in Fallen Order almost looked like their design in these, deleted scenes, because it was just crap quality.
Right. No, I'm talking about Wookiees in general.
No, I know what you're saying.
Super cool. And I never want to pass up an opportunity to see a bunch of Wookiees just go ham on someone. You know what I'm saying? Take, like, in the deleted scene, like them taking over ships and, crushing all the droids inside of it. Stuff along that line, man. That's sweet.
Yeah, it's super cool. Super cool. Trying to think if there's anything else from the actual deleted scenes. We just saw a lot more of Yoda. Just feeling the pain of Order 66, which was super interesting.
What I like to see was, obviously, Order 66 was a turning point in Yoda's life, and because one, he gets notoriously weaker from there on out. His aging rate has to go up, maybe because he's depressed, maybe because he feel like he failed, maybe, there's a bunch of reasons why. But seeing him as it's happening rather than after, you could see the amount of pain his body was physically experiencing, not through the Force, not emotional, but pain, like physical pain. And I don't know if that had an impact on, the downfall of his character, but I don't know. It's just something to think about.
No, definitely. I think it's super interesting, because he goes from
doing being backflips and stuff to being literally immobile.
I wouldn't say a
Muppet, literally.
But yeah, let's get into other Order 66 scenes. So you were going off of the Jedi Fallen Order. Out of the ones we've seen Revenge of the Sith. We'll leave these clips out. Revenge of the Sith, Fallen Order. Clone Wars Season 7, Bad Batch, and Baby Yoda's point of view in the Book of Boba Fett. Are there any I'm forgetting or leaving off? I think that's it.
Kanan. Oh, you just said
Yeah,
Bad Batch. No, I think that's it.
Which one has been your favorite? Let's leave Revenge of the Sith out of it. What has been your favorite viewpoint of Order 66?
So when we ask that question, are we talking about when it's happening, that like the direct aftermath, or kind of just all of it?
Just which is your favorite?
I'd say right now for me, it's a toss-up between Fallen Order and between Clone Wars. And
really?
The
Why
reason
Fallen Order, I'm curious.
I really liked seeing it from Cal's perspective because one, he was so young, he had no idea what was happening, and I forget his master's name.
Yeah.
I forget his master's name, but whatever it is, seeing him sacrifice himself to protect Cal is one of those things that to me makes up a good story in Star Wars. Compare it to like when Kanan sacrifices himself to save Hera and the rest of the crew, or anytime anyone has sacrificed themselves to save anybody. I just feel like he was a good Jedi, and he was able to pass it along to Cal in that moment, and just seeing what kind of would happen to the quote unquote normal Jedi after he were to be escaped, and see what happens to their life. Do they turn dark? Do they turn into scrappers? What do? They still have to go and continue to live, and that's what I liked about that one.
Well, not many of them.
Well,
only
no,
like
we said a little bit ago. There's like 10 that we know of, something like that.
Bro, name more than 5.
I think there's more than 5. I'd have to pull up a physical list.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Star Wars quiz. Name more than 5.
Okay, so there's in Fallen Order. There's 4 in Fallen, 3 in Fallen Order.
What 3?
Cal, the guy you fight on Dathomir.
He wasn't a Jedi though.
Yeah, he was.
I don't think he was a Jedi at the point of Order 66.
He said he survived Order 66.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And then Cal's the master who
mentor.
I don't remember.
Okay, so you should be able to
there's 3
name
right
more
there.
than 5.
Okay.
Right.
So I mean, Anakin doesn't count. Ahsoka
No.
Does Ahsoka count? I think so. Okay.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Kanan.
Huh. Quinlan Voss. I think that's all we know.
That's about it. Somewhere right there. So if we forgot any, drop it in the comments down below.
No, that was
you're
right.
We'll get them all. So it's somewhere around that number. Anyways, what were we just talking about going into that?
What they do after 66.
Right. So after the reason that Clone Wars is also tied for my favorite view of Order 66 is for the very last moments of the show, seeing Ahsoka drop the sabers and seeing Vader end up picking them up, and seeing the direct aftermath of Order 66 with all the clone helmets everywhere. And obviously that's one of the most emotional moments in Star Wars, top tier moment.
Yeah, I would say in order, mine would have to be Clone Wars, because I just loved seeing. I think Clone Wars did the best at intertwining Revenge of the Sith and.
You also can't forget about the moment between Ahsoka and Rex when he was fighting his ship. That was
exactly.
Cool.
I think Clone Wars did the best at intertwining the two scenes, because you have the music, you can hear Palpatine and Anakin's voice, you can hear Mace Windu. So they just connect so much. Because the other views of Order 66, you're seeing it from their point of view. You know what I mean? Right. In Ahsoka, you are seeing it from her point of view, but you can still hear.
It's a little more complex than that.
But you can still hear the things that we've already seen. So seeing Order 66 has millions of different viewpoints, but it was interesting seeing Ahsoka's version of 66 of what we had already seen. She was feeling Anakin's turn to the dark side. So that's what I really liked. Next, I would have to say my favorite was Bad Batch. I really liked Kanan, and seeing how, the Bad Batch was able to fight the chip, or their chip didn't go off. Crosshairs did, as we all know.
And then we end up seeing Wreckers kind of like wobble back and forth as well. So that was another cool aspect of it.
So I think I remember watching it with you for the first time, doing the reaction, seeing the one clone walk away right then and there. I knew that was when he was going to get the
order.
Yeah. And then you see Kanan. I just realized I messed up during the, wait, never mind. I was going to say I messed up during the reaction, but I didn't. We see Kanan not knowing what's going on. We see Tepe Balaba, handle a few and then just not make it. So I think that was my second. Next, I like Grogu's point of view because it was live action. We were seeing clones in the Jedi Temple. They were killing Jedi. I don't know. There's something impactful about that, and how much I love Baby Yoda and Grogu, whatever. How much I enjoy this new era of Star Wars. I think it was cool how it interconnected those two. And then, I did enjoy the Fallen Order one. It was cool being able to play through it. I just don't think we saw too much of it, which is why it's last on my list.
See, that's why. So in order, mine would go Clone Wars, Fallen Order, then probably Bad Batch, and then Grogu's point of view. And the only reason I say Grogu's at the bottom is just because we didn't see a lot of it. Like it ultimately could end up being higher in that list, and odds are it will. We just don't know exactly what's happened, and it's a clip of all of 10 seconds of his point of view, whereas everything else is much more time and much more content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of going off tracks a little bit. You have to think at some point, Grogu has to speak. He has to be a regular character. So
Dude,
at that point,
what does he sound like? Who's going to voice him, bro?
At that point, we'll be able to hear the stories. Maybe he'll talk about Order 66. I don't know who would play him. I mean,
he would sound
really
similar to Yoda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just wonder, is he going
froggy.
to talk like Yoda?
Like backwards?
I can't imagine he would. Well, I don't even know why Yoda talks like that.
I don't know. Because does Yaddle doesn't.
We never hear her speak.
She doesn't. Yeah. So I don't know.
She might have had a couple lines in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So, we've kind of talked about all the different Order 66s. What else did you have? Did you have anything on the actual clips? Anything we left out about Order 66?
Yeah. So again, those of you who are just listening to this, we highly encourage you go back and watch these clips because one, formulate an opinion on your own and how it would change the direction of Order 66, because there are a lot of things that did influence future stories and the future development of the arc. So go check that out. If you do, go back and drop a comment and let us know what you think. But I just really loved seeing Yoda, man. I really think that was my biggest takeaway from the deleted scene, was just really seeing his character hurting. And that's something I think we're missing from Yoda, is what happened between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope that made him age so much faster and get so much more frail. Obviously, some terrible things happen and he's in exile, but like for how old he is and for him to deteriorate in only 11 years, like something's weird about that.
I think, bringing real world examples in, the less you move certain muscle groups, the harder it becomes to move those. The less active you are, the more stiff your body stiffens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So even in the prequels, Yoda was getting old. We see him use a cane. He walks very slow. When he's fighting, he's able to do flips because a
lot of that is force related.
A lot of it is force related
to do that.
And part of it is from his cane. It gives him like energy or something like that. So I think maybe going into going into exile, he doesn't have to do flips anymore. He doesn't have to be as active. And in that time,
he's
his
not
body
doing anything.
No, his body gets, his body ages. So that would be why I think so,
No, that makes sense. You don't use it, you lose it. So
exactly.
Speaking of Yoda's cane, what'd you ever do with your Yoda cane that you bought from Disney?
That is a damn good question.
Did you hang it up on your lightsaber thing?
I didn't have room for it. That is a huh.
I mean, it's there somewhere.
I'm wondering because I flew to Florida after. I'm wondering if I left it at my house.
Huh. I don't know, man.
Wow, I'm really glad you brought that up. I have not seen that.
It's funny. So I actually have a TikTok. Well, I made a TikTok of us going on the rides and stuff when we went to Disney together. And on the Splash Mountain in the video, you can see Nick in the front waving around the Yoda cane, and it's just hilarious, and I love it. It's one of my favorite little clips from that trip, man.
That was funny. Yeah, I don't know where that thing is.
Maybe it'll give you some strength.
Maybe
to the gym with you.
I think one thing I like about what we watched, I liked the first one with Tamara Morrison. It's just so interesting seeing him.
Yeah, man, that one didn't make a lot of sense.
It makes no sense.
I mean, it's a cool scene, and it's a cool thing to think about, like see how much more involved he could have been. But why would they even pretend to try to do that? I don't get that. And that has to be why they took it out.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Did you see, this is completely off topic. I saw that there must have been some type of gala or dinner the other night. And at one table, it was Kathleen Kennedy, a lot of higher ups at Lucasfilm, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, George Lucas. There are just so many people. It was interesting seeing a picture of all of them at one table.
What I'd give to be a fly on the wall in that room.
Oh my gosh, or just a piece of bread on the table.
Dude, seriously,
just
man.
A stick of
just
butter.
The conversations they have, like the amount of genius at that table, bro.
You wonder how much Star Wars is actually spoken about.
Oh, probably nothing, dude. Probably nothing. But I don't know. I'd love that. I'd listen
just
to George
the exchange
talk for an hour.
Yeah, just the exchange of ideas, because he's a brilliant man.
I mean, they all are.
Yo, I saw, stepping away from Star Wars, we'll talk about this really quick. I saw some news right before we recorded, like literally 2 minutes. WandaVision is officially not getting a season 2.
Whoa.
Not getting a season 2.
They got to be going into House of Harkness then.
I don't think so.
What?
I think House of Harkness is set centuries
like millennia
before.
Yeah, centuries before.
Not millennia.
Millennia, that's thousands. Yeah.
I think it's around the time of the Salem witch trials.
That would make sense.
I'm making my best guess, I would think we're definitely getting development of Wanda in the Multiverse of Madness. We're definitely getting, we're 100% getting development out of her character. I don't know if we're going to see Vision in Multiverse of Madness, but even if we don't, I've heard rumors that we're getting a Wanda movie. So with WandaVision being solely about Wanda and Vision's relationship, we saw them interact very intimately every episode, and them not really having a relationship right now. I would think maybe that's why there won't be, quote, a WandaVision, because right now there is no WandaVision. I assume that we'll see it played out in other movies, because I think her contract still has a few movies left on it. So I assume, and the reason why I think it will be played out in the movies is because there is so much more to that story, very important aspects of that story that haven't been explored with this new Vision and Wanda, that they can't just ignore it. So there's got to be a reason why it's not coming back for a season 2.
It kind of makes sense, because I feel like the whole premise of WandaVision was her dealing with the immediate loss of Vision, with everything that's happening in the world, just the pure craziness. And
WandaVision was Westview.
WandaVision was Westview, and that's over. And for them to go back and do WandaVision season 2 maybe isn't the best case scenario. Maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe it is smarter to invest into some sort of multiverse related movie that's not only going to develop. I feel like that would not only add more development, because we don't need to add more characters to her story yet. They need to dive deeper into what's on the table. So a movie might be the best setting for that.
That, and I don't think it's out of the question that it still could be a show, and that it just won't be WandaVision. It could be,
the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, exactly. It could be Scarlet Witch. It could be something completely different. Just like the next, it started off Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Things happened in the show, and he's no longer Falcon.
And now it's Captain America and
yeah, buddy. But also now we're getting Captain America 4. So it went from show to movie. So I don't know. I think it could play out in either platform and they'll make it work. But, I
have full faith in them.
Yeah, I'm sure people online are panicking like, oh, what the hell? Why WandaVision? Great show, all this stuff. But, they're not just ignoring the story. I think it's just not going to be in WandaVision.
Wanda is not done by any means. Her and Doctor Strange, in my opinion, outside of Spider-Man, are the two faces of Marvel right now. And there's no way they're going to stop the development of those characters.
Well, I think it was Feige or someone else.
Feige said that Doctor Strange is the main face of the MCU.
Yes, he is the new Iron Man.
Yes.
Which is super interesting. Did you ever think that?
No.
It's weird. That's coming up soon. We have Moon Knight, and then Kenobi and Multiverse of Madness, and we have Morbius before then. Did you see that apparently Michael Keaton's appearance in Morbius is just a post-credit scene?
I believe that. Honestly, bro, this comes out next week, and I am going in with low expectations.
I've heard positive things.
I'm heard
excited
negative things. I have not heard any positive things. Now, I feel like I'm still going to enjoy it because it's Spider-Man related. I like Jared Leto. I think the character is probably cool. I've just heard that there's a lot of downfalls to it, and it doesn't add a lot to the development of this new Sonyverse.
Well, that's what I feel like a lot of people are expecting too much of. They go from Spider-Man No Way Home. They automatically assume... Well, yeah, yes. But by the way, No Way Home's getting incredible hate lately.
Why?
Have you seen it? I don't know. I haven't paid attention to it, but you go from No Way Home, you expect this multiverse, especially in Sony, to expand. But I think people are expecting it all of a sudden to just click and flow into each other automatically.
Endgame took 10 years.
Yes, and it's still an origin movie. We've never seen Morbius in a movie.
Right.
So this is like Iron Man 1, where we're going to see how he becomes
Dr.
Morbius becomes this creature. So, it's people having their own expectations. You can, and Marvel and Sony have done that to people already, because you get a movie with 10 superheroes in it. That we're kind of beyond that point of having just a show or movie based on one person. So now going back to that, people are let down because, those dopamine levels are too high, and, you have to even out a little bit. You have to just come down off of the high of Endgame and Avengers and No Way Home and this multiverse. Like, there's still a lot of development, but I would like to assume there's a plan. So I think Morbius will tie in eventually if he doesn't do it in this movie. I think he will. It's just you can't jump right in.
No, there's just so much confusion around what is what within these two separate universes and the direction they're going to take, and really what the whole premise of specifically the Sonyverse is.
We know, is there a big bad? Or who are the villains?
No one knows, and no one's going to know for a while. I don't even know the next Sony movie release after this, so it's gonna be a while.
Into the Spider-Verse.
October
Across the Spider-Verse.
October 8th, I think, is the release date of that. October something. Part 1.
Across the Spider-Verse. Part 1.
I can't wait. I can't.
Oh yeah,
wait, bro. Ooh.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Faux
Yeah.
show. And who knows what we're gonna see in Multiverse of Madness, because we already know it. There's a little animated portion, so I don't know where it's crazy.
So while we're talking about Spider-Man, I want to show this off real quick. So I have taken my first opportunity to make a custom pop. Nick has done this a few times, but this was my first time, and I had this blank Boba Fett that I went ahead and converted into a Spider-Lorian. Ended up really happy with the product of the first Carbonite Convos exclusive. So I'm happy with it. I just wanted to show it off real quick and, get it out there.
No, it's dope.
Yeah.
It is dope.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty much all I have for, the night. Do you have anything else?
No, man. I think we got the point across. Like, for episode 66, we really wanted to do something special, and we figured, why not talk about Order 66 on episode 66? So it was fun to watch those deleted scenes. Always fun to talk a little bit about Spider-Man. You shared the new WandaVision news with me. I had not heard that yet. So a lot of stuff happening. We got Moon Knight coming out next week. We have Morbius coming out next week. Multiverse of Madness will be here before we know it. Dude, it's a good time to be an MCU and Star Wars fan, man.
It's a good time to be a freaking nerd.
It's a good time to be alive, man. Let me tell you that.
Sir. Well, everybody, we can't thank you enough for tuning in to another episode of the Carbonite Convos podcast. Like always, we got to end it with some self-promotion. Don't forget to come back to the channel on Friday to see our Funko Pop concept list from the Phantom Menace. It's been in the works for a little bit, but part 1 is coming out Friday, and the complete list of about 20 Funko Pop concepts will be coming out next week. So what is today's date? We are recording this on Wednesday, March 23rd. On Friday, March 25th, you can expect part 1 of the Phantom Menace list, and then next Friday, part 2. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to come back. But until you're back on the channel, may the Force be with you.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.